Welcome to the exciting and new podcast. I'm Jason.
I'm Andy. I'm horrified.
And I'm Brian.
And I'm Connor.
That's so loud, isn't it? I love it. All right, everybody.
It's Halloween time, I guess.
Special guest Connor in the house this evening.
What are we talking about?
A little bit.
Tonight we're talking about. Why don't you want to introduce this one?
Sure.
Yeah.
We're talking about The Thing from John Carpenter, legendary horror director, 1982, as always, for now.
Yeah, June 25th, 1982 was the theatrical release date. Rated R, running time, hour and 49 minutes. Streaming on Peacock. That's where I watched it today. Yesterday. How about everybody else? Where'd everybody watch it?
I watched it on the cock.
I paid $4 on YouTube.
I watched him watch it on the cock.
Yeah, they make you watch 3 minutes of commercials and then you get the full movie uninterrupted. So I was like, nah, that's not bad. John Carpenter, you mentioned the director. You want to take a stab at his top four? Anybody know what his top four are? First off, the top four are all writing credits. They're not directing credits. They're writing credits in his top four.
They Live.
They Live is in his top four. I'm surprised Brian got one.
The original.
What'd you say? I'm sorry?
The original Halloween.
Halloween, yes. 1978. Yep.
Escape from New York.
Escape from New York, yes.
The Thing.
Is not.
What?
The Fog.
The Fog is correct.
Okay.
There it is.
Escape from L.A.
He's not taking credit for that piece of shit.
I just saw Escape from New York for the first time.
That's an
the
excellent
day
movie
after.
also.
What'd you think?
I thought it was all right. I had a good time with it. Yeah. Definitely. I've only seen 3 of his movies, but that would be the third one.
Now, you say all writing credits, but didn't he direct all those movies too?
Yeah, but I'm just saying in this top four, it said writer.
Oh.
What it said that it was in there. It wasn't, sometimes they'll say director.
It didn't say like Halloween composer because he came up with the
He was listed as a composer for The Thing as well.
Yeah.
He came up with that sound?
Yeah, that's
That's
him.
a good
I mean,
one.
he does most of his music,
Yeah.
but
IMDb description. I got the small one and then the full one. The small one here. A research team in Antarctica is hunted by a shape-shifting alien that assumes the appearance of its victims. That's it.
it's short and sweet.
Yep. Here's our long and drawn out, overblown, whatever.
Spoiler filled.
A U.S. research station, Antarctica, early winter 1982. The base is suddenly buzzed by a helicopter from the nearby Norwegian research station. They are trying to kill a dog that has escaped from their base. After the destruction of the Norwegian chopper, the members of the U.S. team fly to the Norwegian base, only to discover them all dead or missing. They do find the remains of a strange creature the Norwegians burned. The Americans take it to their base and deduce that it is an alien life form. After a while, it is apparent that the alien can take over and assimilate into other life forms, including humans, and can spread like a virus. This means that anyone at the base could be inhabited by the Thing, and tensions escalate.
It's like the first 45 minutes of the movie, like step for step.
Because if you don't know what's going on, like that dog doesn't seem ominous, except every time they show him, they go dun 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 dun.
And he just has something about the way he's like walking, his head, like the way it moved. The movement.
He was a
of his
really
head.
good actor.
Yeah.
If they had more than one, they were both good actors.
Yeah.
But they,
No, that dog was in quite a few things.
oh, really?
Yeah.
Do you know of some of the things?
No, but I would looked at its IMDb page.
I'll say that.
Of all the actors in this, I did not look up the dog's
I
IMDb
have a
page.
bunch of actors
That's the
listed
only
here.
one I did look up.
That's great.
That's why people come to this podcast.
When we started the movie, Brian and I watched this together last year. So the dog's like running up. We like know what's going on. And then Christine and Brady came to the living room with us and they're like, why are they shooting at this dog? And we're just sitting there like.
And if you're sitting in the theater in 1982, you're
Yeah.
like, why are they shooting at this dog?
Yeah.
Those damn Swedes. I love that was like the cultural racism of the movie,
Right.
calling the Norwegian
Swedes.
Swedes the whole time, like two countries that are super duper white. Like, just call one the other.
While Brian's looking that up, I guess we can
Do anything else because it'll take him a year and
did
a
you
half
get there
to
yet,
find.
or-
I did.
Okay, good.
So his name is Jed.
JED.
JED, and he was in 1982's The Thing. He was in 1985's The Journey of Natty Gann. He played Wolf.
I don't know that movie.
He was White Fang in the 1991 movie White Fang, and he came up with that role again, White Fang, in White Fang 2.
I don't.
White Fang ear.
Yes. Fang bangers.
Are his paws on the Hollywood Walk of Fame? It seems like pretty impressive for one dog.
I know he lived a long time.
I was going to say, like, one of those movies is, 12 years later, and he was still acting? Good for him.
Yeah.
Are we supposed to know Fang? I don't think. Did you
White
know that?
Fang.
Is that one of those, like...
You never saw White Fang?
Isn't
think I
White Fang
did.
one of those, like...
Isn't it a
those
book?
Trulies or White...
It's a
White
Jack
Claw. White
London-
Claw, I'm thinking. Sorry.
Jack London book.
Oh, wait.
It was a book,
Didn't they do
yeah.
that? Isn't he... Harrison Ford was in that?
Oh, maybe he did a
That was
later
the new
one.
one that just came out, but that was like Call to the
Isn't
Call
Harrison
the
Ford in the
Wild
MCU
or
now?
Something. He is.
Harrison Ford is in the MCU, but isn't that a Jack London book called The Wild?
Could be. I
I
haven't
think it
read
is.
either book. So
Oh,
I'm
I've
not
I,
familiar.
I know why you haven't seen this one.
Ethan Hawke's in it. Nice.
I'll have to watch it now.
That's the usual reason why I won't watch something.
We're the opposite.
Playing McCready in this was Kurt Russell.
I've heard of him.
Yeah, he was full Kurt Russell with the hair there, right? That was
He looked good.
Yeah,
this
great
was
beard.
like this was prime Kurt Russell.
Goldie
right
was
here.
all about that.
Yeah.
She was all about that. You want to take a stab at beauty Kurt Russell's top four? there?
Overboard.
Goldie Hawn.
Top four.
Was he in Goldie Hawn?
Goldie Hawn. He was in her. He was in her.
Still is, I think.
He's in her
He
again.
is. Yeah.
Yep, but that neither of those was on there. Overboard is not either.
How about Escape from New York?
Escape from New York, no, but Escape
Big
from
T and Little C.
L.A.
LA
LA
is,
is in his top four, but not New York.
What about
Big Trouble.
Big
Guardians
Trouble.
of the Galaxy 2?
Yeah, Guardians
of the Galaxy 2, yes. Big Trouble, no.
No.
The Thing.
The Thing, no.
Is it something we would know?
Yes.
Is it Captain Ron?
No.
It's not Overboard. Is it
What if I said there was a number in the title?
11.
11?
What
the fuck's
the
11?
fuck is that?
I thought you just asked for a number.
Any number will do.
And why 11? Is that your favorite number? Or?
11 is my favorite number.
Damn, I'm trying to think of any movie with a number in
I
it.
have a feeling I'm
Sixth
gonna know
Sense,
these.
Fifth
I'm
Element,
so upset.
7.
Do the number. So you did what did you do? 5? No.
5, 6, 7,
No.
8.
7,
Oh,
no.
Hateful Eight. Hateful Eight.
Oh yeah, I forgot he's on that.
And I don't think anybody is going to get the other one. Executive Decision.
That was
that a
like a Tom
Seagal?
Clancy or
Was that
something like that.
Seagal, or-
Oh yeah, it was a Seagal.
Right.
Seagal. Nothing should be a Seagal anything.
Real quick on this one.
Unless it's Katie.
Or those twins.
Playing Dr. Blair, Wilford Brimley.
A young Wilford Brimley.
48 years old.
He was 47 years old when this film was
47,
made.
yeah.
I had to do the math like 3 times because I'm like,
was
he's at least 70,
47
right?
years old. Dr. Blair is 47 years old in this movie.
I wonder if
I don't think
diabetic.
Connor understands the significance of Wilford Brimley
Here's a little trivia. Died in 2020, age 85.
of diabetes.
Complications from diabetes. That was his cause of death. Yeah.
That would make sense.
Do you have any top 4 for him?
Cocoon.
Yeah.
Cocoon, no.
Really? No. I honestly don't know much. He was in The
That
Firm.
was it. That's all I know.
He was in The Thing.
The Thing is in his top 4.
The Firm's not.
The Firm is.
How
not.
about Seinfeld?
No, but that's a good.
He was the Postmaster
Yeah.
General.
He said, "I'll tell you what, I'm not, Mr. Kramer."
Oh man, I don't know anything else. He was in.
The Thing, I said, The Natural,
Oh, he's in the National.
In and Out, and Hard.
Oh shit, he is Kevin Kline's dad in In and Out. Great movie.
Hard Target is the last one.
They're
Hard
probably
Target.
the same age.
Hard Target. That's a Seagal movie too, I think.
Yeah, and in his first movie, Keith David playing
This
Childs.
is his first movie?
Yeah,
You sure it's Keith David and not David Keith? Because I know there's a little confusion there because there is a David
I have Keith David.
It is Keith David.
Yeah, he's playing Childs.
Keith David. Are you asking for his top 4?
Yeah, if you, I don't. It's
I would hope that Armageddon's one of them.
it is.
And
Which one is he?
He's like when they're trying to figure out who's going to go to space. He's like in charge of. He's like him and Billy Bob Thornton are trying to figure out who's going into space. He has the best line in that movie.
What was the other one that came out at the same time? It was Armageddon and
Deep Impact.
Deep Impact, yeah.
But he has the line.
What's
where
the
he's,
better one?
Oh, Armageddon's awesome.
I didn't see either one.
And he's also in Something About Mary because he's the one that says, "How'd you get the beans over the Franks?"
That's Keith David who says that?
Yes, it is.
He's in another John Carpenter movie, right? Is he in Escape from New York?
He might be.
Or
They Live.
They Live.
He's the one that gets in the fight with Roddy Piper. That's right, for sure. Yeah.
But you said Armageddon, right?
I
So you
did.
got that, The Thing. They got They Live, and the other's The Princess and the Frog. I didn't think you were going to get that.
I guess
one.
he was a voice in that. That was a cartoon, right?
Yeah.
Disney.
The Frog.
Wasn't he in Community?
He is.
Yeah.
Is he?
Yeah.
Was.
What's he in?
The
Community?
last season? He
Yeah.
was the,
I don't think I watched that last season. Once Chevy Chase and
what, though?
Childish Gambino left, I didn't watch
Did you
it.
see they tweeted recently. It looks like the movie's happening.
They are doing a movie.
Yeah.
but Mike Trout. I mean, not Trout. Mike.
I know. He took over as the old man in the group
Yeah.
there. Yeah, yeah.
He did well. I like
Jonathan
Mike when he
Banks.
was when Jonathan Banks was on.
You
yeah.
want to say Mike Aaron Trout. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fine.
You
we
can say
accept
it.
that.
We'll allow
we
it.
accept that.
I'll allow it.
That's acceptable.
That was crazy. A sports thing just came out of your mouth like willingly.
Well,
No,
remember
he was not saying Mike Trout.
But how about
he,
when
he meant
I
Mike
know what he
Aaron
meant,
Trout.
but-
Yeah.
But how about
the
when he
result is the same. I give
How about when he
credit.
got Nolan Ryan the other day, though?
And he got Mike Schmidt too that one day. And by the way, when the TV was on in this one, I took note. I'm like, I'm getting this TV question right.
Oh, what game show was on?
Yeah.
You want to? I'm guessing you know, but do you know what game show?
I know a game show.
Okay. Yeah, Connor doesn't know.
Probably don't know what game show was on the TV.
I know like 2 game shows that exist, so it'd either be
Is it from the
Jeopardy or
70s?
Wheel of Fortune. Those are the only two I know.
What are two you said?
Jeopardy and Wheel of Fortune. I don't know when either of them started, so I don't know if they were even on.
They
in
might have been
82.
on at this point.
Jeopardy.
But they weren't
at least-
recording them
I
on
mean,
tape.
Jeopardy's been at least 30 plus years.
Well, it was on in the
It's
60s, and then they stopped it for a while, and then
and
they came back to
I
it.
think
and-
I want to say Wheel of Fortune's been late 70s, early 80s,
Oh, yeah.
right? Yeah. So
it's neither neither one of those is the right
It's
answer.
not The Price is Right.
It's not The Price is Right either.
No, you go ahead. Want to tell him, Andy?
It's Let's Make a Deal.
Oh, there you go.
Pick a door.
What's behind door number 1, 2, or 3?
Did
And he knew how that was ending. They had Let's Make a Deal on tape.
Yeah.
And he's like, I took the tape out and he's putting another tape in. I was like, they have these on tape because obviously they're not getting reception in the Antarctic. So they have
Nah,
nothing else to
man.
watch. But in 1982 VCR, that's high end technology at that point.
That's a good VCR.
Because I
yeah.
remember we got a VCR in like 1983 or 4, and that was like a
That's
big
the remote still had
fucking
the
deal.
remote was still like a wire
Attached,
to it, you know what I
yep.
mean? It still had to be attached.
That was a big VCR.
It was.
Yeah,
it was like beta.
The top
Like,
loading
chunk,
too.
chunk.
Yeah.
It was like the top would pop up. And
Good stuff.
Howie, whatever his name is, he the guy who
Howie Mandel?
didn't he like revive like
He's Deal or
Let's
No
Make
Deal.
a deal or
Did he-
Deal or No Deal? Okay,
Oh, Howie
Deal or
Mandel,
No
yeah.
Deal.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. Sorry.
Okay.
Not Let's Make a Deal.
okay. I watched.
Let's
Deal
Make
or
a
No
Deal
when I was
is
younger.
shit. I'm drawing a blank.
Monty Hall.
Monty Hall.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Monty
Okay.
Hall. Who is
Love Monty
And then,
Hall.
uh,
But it's also
Alive?
Wayne Brady.
Yeah,
now,
yeah.
yeah.
It was Wayne Brady.
Oh, so Monty Hall not alive anymore?
Monty Hall passed. Yeah.
Wink Martindale's still alive
Wake Martindale's still alive. Yeah.
and coaching for the Giants right now.
So
defensive
is
coordinator.
the guy from Newlywed Game, Bob Eubanks.
Bob Eubanks and Bob Barker's still alive too.
Bob Barker's
They're
still
all
alive.
like a million together
Pat St.
combined.
Jack's still alive.
Well, he's
Isn't
still
Eubanks
on-
going to be at Chiller?
Chiller. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Bob Barker. That's the Price is Wrong, bitch.
Yeah.
That's that one.
Playing Clark was Richard Mazer. I have a TV question for you on that one.
One day at a time.
He was on One Day at a Time. He dated
Bonnie Franklin,
Was he,
Anne Romano.
Anne Romano.
Yep.
That's right.
He had to have been on it for at least a year.
How many
24 episodes.
How many episodes?
24 episodes.
Was Richard Mazer One Day at a Time? How many episodes of One Day at a Time was Richard Mazer in?
24.
Andy says 24.
I'm going to say 15.
17.
22
Ah,
episodes out of
Oh, I don't know.
209 total episodes.
I would say 250.
So it looks like one season. You were right.
He was lead in Head Office, that movie I always
Oh,
try
was he
to
really?
get you guys.
He's also infamous for being the Princeton recruiter in Risky Business. Sometimes you just got to say what the fuck, and then he says what the heck.
He's just got that voice though too, and it was really like
He's got a
you wanna
great
see him
voice,
cuddle
yeah.
up to his voice.
And he was a Gilbert guest at least once. He might have been twice on Gilbert.
I think at least you're right. At least once, yeah.
He was one of those guys that he was on every show. Show.
We mentioned One Day at a Time. You just mentioned Risky Business.
Facts of Life.
The Thing. Richard.
Those
Mays,
are three of his top four.
Yeah.
Okay.
And his fourth thing was, where's it at? The Thing. Risky. My Girl.
Oh,
My
that's
Girl.
right.
Yeah.
Is that the one with Macaulay Culkin where he dies
Yeah.
from bees?
You can't see without his glasses.
Was he like the dad?
I believe so. Yeah, I don't remember the movie. T.K. Carter played Knowles.
Was that the kid on skates?
Yes.
Was he the original roller girl?
He was the Tootie, right?
The Tootie. Every time he went rolling by, I'm like, he's not roller girl.
I do
he's
have
roller
him.
boy.
His top four: The Thing, Runaway Train, Domino, and Southern Comfort. But I have him from something. Season 1, Saved by the Bell, was actually called Good Morning Miss Bliss. He played a teacher. He was in 13 of the 14 episodes.
I remember.
Really?
that.
So
Yeah.
he was a main character on that first season.
And it only had Zach Leese and Screech. There was no Kelly, Jesse, or
I remember
Slater
that
yet.
Good Morning Miss Bliss.
Yeah, Good Morning Miss Bliss. They were in Indiana at the time.
Before they moved to L.A.
Before it
or
was in LA,
California, yeah.
They just magically appeared in LA.
Well, they decided it was much sexier to go to California than Indiana.
And that wasn't my would have found.
I haven't had my
You haven't
find
got
yet.
to yours, right?
I haven't had mine yet.
I wanted to make sure we didn't get there yet. Okay. I want to make sure we didn't get there yet.
It's all good.
Playing Palmer was David Clennon.
Which one was Palmer? Palmer was the one that they found out was when they were all tied up.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's not. We didn't really know him from much. Missing, Syriana, The Thing, and Gone Girl.
Oh, Syriana.
Yeah.
Syriana was a good movie. And Gone Girl, I never saw that.
Awesome movie.
That was that Ben Affleck one? Awesome movie, huh?
And Ben Affleck and oh god, Rosamund Pike and Tyler Perry. I think he's in it.
Wasn't he the lawyer?
Yes, he was
Yeah.
actually very good in this.
Was he dressed up as a
role there.
woman?
No,
He played
Not this
Medea. as
Medea, the lawyer.
yeah, good movie. Good movie.
Gone Girl?
Yep.
I know
And
Michelle
I've never
saw
seen
it.
it.
Neil
Yeah.
Patrick Harris is also in it.
It's based on a book, right? That was one of those ones that
I don't
Michelle
know.
I
read
know.
the
I know.
book
It was
and saw the
huge
movie.
when that came out.
I just watched it because
yeah.
it was David Fincher.
Oh, really? David Fincher did that, huh?
That's what I thought.
Maybe I'll have to watch that then.
Really good.
Playing Dr. Cooper was Richard Dysart. Again,
Seen
these guys you
elsewhere?
didn't really know.
Who?
No, Wall Street. He was in Wall Street, Being There, in L.A. Law.
LA Law. That's
Yeah, and
Oh, wait, he was
and
in
The Thing. Yeah.
Being There with Peter Sellers movie, Being
Yeah, I
There?
believe so, yeah.
Oh, was he really? All right.
Yep.
In L.A. Law, huh? Never watched
I
that.
remember him from LA Law. Yeah.
Charles Hallahan plays Vance Norris. He died young.
Norris.
He died in 97.
Norris was the one that turns into the teeth.
His
Yeah.
head.
Norris died in 97 at 54 from a heart attack. Real quick, his top four were The Thing, Dante's Peak, The Fan, and Fatal Beauty.
No.
Nothing really out
Crickets.
of those. Yeah. That's what I didn't think so. That's why I said some of these guys were like,
These are all character actors,
Yeah.
except for Kurt Russell. They're all character actors, and Keith David.
and then he had Peter Maloney playing George Bennings. Again, another one of these guys. He was in Summer of Sam, Requiem for a Dream. He was in Private Parts, actually.
Who was this?
George Bennings. He played Peter Maloney. I think he was what that guy who said he got shot. He was like, I got shot today.
and
I
then he
think-
was walking around like no
Yeah.
problem. He got shot in the leg.
He was just
He was-
grazed.
He was in Private Parts.
I think that was him. I don't know if that was the same. I might have had the wrong guy. I don't know.
Okay.
Up next is a guy that that I thought was a good find. Donald Moffat. He played Gary.
Yeah. Eyebrows.
Is that your guy?
No, but I know now. I know what you're going to talk about.
What?
Well, I'll give you what I know him from. He was in The Right Stuff, and he was the president in all like the Tom Clancy, Harrison Ford movies. Clear and Present,
Yeah,
whatever the
yep, yep,
fuck,
yep,
and
yep,
Hunt
yep.
for Fuck You and all
Yep.
that.
So you
shit.
got The Right Stuff, which is in his top four. The Thing, Clear and Present Danger. But the fourth thing in his top four is
I know what it
wanna
is.
talk about.
I know what it is, and I'm not going to spoil it for you. But you're going to say it, and I'm going to say it. I'm going to be.
He's doing Popeye, right? Because it's the tax man from
As soon as I
Popeye.
saw him, I was like, I know this guy from Popeye.
So it's the same fucking guy.
Well, that's not what I had,
Oh, okay.
but I'm glad you brought that up. Yeah, Popeye. He was the
He's in
tax man.
Popeye.
Riding around on his bike, trying to collect the taxes from all those people.
No
in
matter
Sweet
what it was,
Haven.
he's like, you said it was a cursing tax because you cursed, or you stepped on a piece of wood. That's a stepping on a piece of wood tax. You're getting taxed on
And
everything.
he had the same eyebrows.
The movie Popeye is one of the most bizarre movies ever made.
But it works.
Bizarre, but
So
great movie.
It
crazy.
works. I don't like Robin Williams, but I love that movie.
Yeah,
That is a
love that
great
movie.
all-time great
Robin
movie.
Williams, Popeye.
Yes.
Oh, my
And Shelley
God.
Duvall from Shining. She's olive oil.
You need to see this movie.
Oh my
Yeah.
God,
guess
it
I'll
is
have
crazy.
to
And
watch it.
Ray Walston is
It's,
Pappy.
Yep.
and they
Pappy.
built the town.
it's
that-
just like in a lagoon somewhere or something. It's crazy.
the octopus.
Where it's like almost like that scene Martin Landau in
Ed Wood.
Ed Wood, where he's like pulling the tentacles on top of himself just to make it look like it's moving.
I have Joe Polis.
Yep, that's my guy.
I think. Can I guess what he's from?
Please do.
He's in an episode of Seinfeld.
He is in
The
an
jerk
episode of-
store.
The jerk store called to run out of you. He's the one that tells George, "Hey George, the ocean called to run out of shrimp." Well, I had sex with your
got it.
wife.
That's great. We both had each other's.
As soon as I saw him, I was like, I know this guy from something.
Because George turns around and flies to Cleveland, right?
Oh, when he's in the car, he's like, I got it. Ah, yeah, because then he goes to work for Goodyear, right?
Yep.
Tires or something like that. Oh my God. The jerk store called to run out of you.
So I got a couple more here. Thomas G. Waits, he plays Windows.
Oh, okay, the radio guy. Yep.
Yep. And then the voice of the computer. You know who played the computer
I
voice?
know that
The only
one.
female in the cast.
Yeah.
I know that one.
And
Who is
did she
it?
only talk in the chess game? Is that it?
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
the only time she talked,
The only
right?
time she
Cheating
talked.
bitch.
Yep.
Cheating bitch. And then he throws his drink in there like, dude, that's your only form of entertainment and you're destroying the only form of entertainment you have.
You want to say her name?
I love to. Adrienne Barbeau.
There you go.
This has been the summer of Barbeau. This is the
Yeah.
third time she's been represented on this podcast.
And playing a Norwegian in the video footage, I got John Carpenter. That was my last on the cast.
oh, in the footage that they're watching
Yeah, they watch
of them
footage,
digging
yeah.
up the spaceship. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Weird cast, but great cast.
That's all I had for the cast. Did you have anything you wanted to add to the
I think
cast?
that's everybody.
You had everybody. I think we called
The poor
everybody.
one other guy that was in this movie, and he's like sitting at home going like, really?
There was
You don't
like,
talk about me?
there was like two other people, and they were the Norwegians. The
Is that
guy in
it?
the-
Really?
I
Have we
think
talked about
basically.
every single
I think
guy
we talked about
in the-
everybody else on the cast.
Every
pretty
single
much, yeah.
American?
I looked at the parents' guide. The profanity used. I had a list here. Somebody wrote that "goddamn" was used in this movie.
Oh.
5 uses of the word "fuck."
It was really PG until
Here is
it
where-
was like,
5 uses of "fuck," where one was motherfucker,
one was get me out of this fucking couch, which
two
was
is
the great line.
fucking, two is uses "fuck you." Sparse uses of the F word, at most 4, a handful of S words. 6 uses of shit, including 1 use of bullshit and shithead.
But one of the F's was great line when the head grew legs and ran
Oh
out.
God, he's like, get the fuck out of
Yeah.
here. That was great.
Kidding me.
That
Well,
was great. That
you
special
just
effect
hit-
was awesome. Like when the Morse head, because it was upside down,
Yeah.
and the eyes grew out of the top of it, and the legs came out
That
and
was
started
awesome.
crawling around. I was like,
I
how
think
good
I
was
think you
that?
just touched on it. I have wrote down here my favorite quote was from Gary. He says, "I know you gentlemen have been through a lot, but when you find the time, I'd rather not spend the rest of this winter tied to this fucking couch."
There you go.
That's
Yeah.
my favorite line. That's so great.
Hey, who did the music in this besides John Carpenter?
It was Ennio Morricone.
Morricone. So he, infamous for Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Yes,
And I saw that
the leftover music that wasn't used for this.
unused music composed for this film was later used for his Quentin Tarantino Hateful Eight. Ironically, the Thing score was nominated for a Razzie for worst score, while his score for Hateful Eight won him an Oscar.
Damn.
So his leftover music,
Gets the Oscar.
30 years later, got an Oscar.
That should be rescinded. The
Why?
music in the thing was phenomenal.
I think
Well,
it's great. Yeah.
The Razzie, I mean, but everybody hated the Razzie, or everybody hated the thing at the time. So
That's crazy.
yeah,
How could
the
you
music in Hateful Eight was awesome.
Well,
but
one of the things that hurt the thing is because E.T. It was the same year.
Maybe that hurts box office, but that shouldn't hurt critical acclaim.
I agree.
For
It
this
doesn't hurt
movie.
critical acclaim because I think it gets a lot of praise from critics. This movie.
Now, but
Yeah.
not then.
No,
this
not-
movie was shit all over
Yeah.
like back in the day. Like no one talked about.
I guess
because
because it's the first of its kind. Like
I don't
that,
understand
maybe?
how that happens. I don't know how something can be like so overlooked, and then 20 years later they're like, "Oh yeah, no, that's really good." But why wasn't it good 20 years ago?
Yeah.
Was it so ahead of
And
its
it's like,
time?
yeah. They just didn't want that person to become. I don't know. It's like
Would that have broke John Carpenter? Would he have been like, was he directing Return of the Jedi the next year if this broke?
well, what did I see? He lost the movie.
Because of this?
Oh, what did he lose?
Is this a mental note, Brian?
I might have it. I might have it in my notes. So when we get there, I'm going to be using a pen and checking off my notes today as I go through them. So I just hit my favorite quote. So there we go.
I got to shift.
You want to know what my first notes here are, Andy?
Unfortunately, most of my notes are about the cast, so you keep going.
My first notes here are Jeff Bridges and Nick Nolte both turned down the role of McCready.
Good.
I could totally see Jeff Bridges in this role for sure. I've for years and years and years mixed up Jeff Bridges and Kurt Russell. Like I know who they are, but every once in a while I'll be like, oh yeah, Jeff Bridges in that. I'm like, no, Kurt Russell's in that. So I can see that. Nick Nolte, he wouldn't have been as good in this.
Here it is. Yeah. Its negative reception may have been the fault of E.T. Opened at the box office the same week as Blade Runner also.
Wow. So this opened against Blade Runner and E.T.?
Well, E.T. was already out, I think.
Oh.
And then,
So friendly alien versus malevolent alien?
yeah. And then the thing's just coming out. It's like, whoa.
Which one was the malevolent one?
The one that was like trying to take over the world?
All I know
Say
is
a
that
number.
I know is that during the production, temperatures range from 0 to minus 15 degrees Fahrenheit, and because of this, around $75,000 of the film's budget wound up being spent on keeping the cast and crew warm.
Wasn't this filmed in like L.A. or something like that? I thought it was filmed in like I thought
I think
the inside shots were filmed in like a refrigeration cooler in Los
There was
Angeles.
a sound stage, and then I think they were on location somewhere. I'm not.
I wonder where all those mountains were filmed. That was really cool. Like that opening shot with the helicopter flying around.
That
and-
was nice. I like that. Yeah.
And then when they went back out, the 2 times they went out.
Greenland.
Was it filmed in Greenland?
Oh, I don't know.
Well, thanks for bringing that.
Ah,
So why don't you just
dude.
say Siberia or fucking
I know.
Alaska?
That could have been one of his mental notes. We don't know.
He wouldn't actually give a real note. He just like guess. Where's a place that has snow and mountains?
Man,
It was filmed in Colorado.
Andy's gonna have a serious talk with you.
Just shut up if you
The
don't know the
thing
truth.
was filmed in Los Angeles, Alaska, and Stewart, British Columbia.
Yeah, that's
So-
where it was really cold. Stewart, British Columbia.
So nowhere near Greenland.
Yep, but
You don't know that.
you just got it. It's on the internet.
I do. I know that British Columbia and Alaska aren't near Greenland. Los Angeles is right by it.
Carpenter has confirmed that both McCready and Childs are human.
Oh, I don't like that.
At the end of
because
the
that's
movie.
Take that back.
one of the best parts of the movie that you don't know.
I know, but that's something I read that Carpenter says. I think that should be
Man,
left
that's
to the
bullshit, man.
imagination.
Because like, why would you put that out there?
I don't know.
I think
It's
one
out
of the
there.
best parts of this movie is that you don't know who is.
I'm
Really?
sorry, but I'm giving that.
And they
note.
start drinking that J and
checked
B
it off.
scotch. That is my mom's favorite scotch. She loves a Rob Roy, which is a martini, but with scotch, and she loves J and B scotch.
You want to hear what some of the newspapers
Never
had to
had
say
it.
about this movie?
The who?
The film got scathing reviews on release. As hard as it may be to believe now, the initial reviews for The Thing were almost universally negative. The Los Angeles Times described the film as bereft, despairing, and nihilistic. The New York
Exactly. That's the point.
The New York Times called it instant junk, and other outlets were no kinder. Even San Francisco fantasy horror magazine Cine Fantastique had their knives out, asking on their cover, "Is this the most hated movie of all time?" Why?
So
so
that
much,
has nothing to do with ET coming out. Like people
why
just
so
had
much
a
hate? That's a lot of hate for nothing, right? You gotta have like a reason to hate something that much, right?
Yeah, I mean, even this 40 years later, the effects were
really
great,
good. Like
yeah.
all those practical effects, like when Morris bit off Doc's hands, that was a great effect, man. That was so fun to watch. And when his head turned into the thing or when it turned into the monster with the eyeballs and stuff, that was so good.
I genuinely think this could be like the greatest use of practical effects that I've seen
I agree,
in
yeah.
a movie.
For
Like,
sure.
It is absolutely spectacular.
The way they're like there's like spaghetti, like
That was so wild. Oh yeah.
whipping around.
yeah.
And by the way, so
love that.
when they did the blood test and they finally found out Palmer was a thing and the blood went flying everywhere, and they'd already said that every little piece of it is its own individual organism.
Yeah.
And all that blood just went like running under the table. And they didn't care about that. They just cared that the guy over here was a thing. But all that blood is a
that's
thing
still
too.
a thing, too,
It
yeah.
just went right
It
under the
also
table.
burnt down and it blew up the entire building.
By the way,
After that.
I did put this in my notes. I'm like, nothing in this place catches fire unless they want it to catch fire, because they had that thing going, that flamethrower going, just like, oh my god, there it is, flamethrower over there, and they actually burned one of the guys where there was a bookshelf next to him, and like that all kind of caught fire, and then it wasn't. Then it was just not on fire anymore.
Continuity error.
The way they had that flamethrower going, that place should have burned down in like 7 seconds. I know they showed a scene where the guys came in with the fire extinguishers and stuff like that, but they probably used those up at that time in the kennel.
3 people that were in contention to take that role from Keith David were Ernie Hudson,
Okay.
Carl Weathers, and Bernie Casey.
So they said we have to have a black man in this role.
That's what it looks like.
That's
yes.
fine.
Carl
Keith
Weathers
David was
would have been
great.
Interesting.
Yeah,
I
they
think
would have all
great
been
casting. Great casting. Very good. Yeah.
great. Keith David was great. I could see. Well, listen, man.
There is
Carl Weathers can do anything. Carl Weathers probably would have outshined Kurt Russell, though.
Yeah.
He was probably a little too big already. He'd been Apollo a couple
I think you're
times
right,
by
yeah.
then. So,
An alternate ending was shot with McCready being rescued.
but is he being rescued and it's still a bum bum bum? We don't know
I don't
that
know,
he's
just
the
says-
thing or not.
I wonder if that's out there, if it's ever been released. Do you know of any of the
Who
anything like
rescued
that?
him?
No,
The Swedes.
I'm not aware. Well, they said they were waiting for the rescue team to show up.
Yeah.
So it was really a matter of, if the fire was going to keep them warm enough, they're going to have enough supplies to like hold out until anything got there. I don't think they were
I don't like
going
the fact
to.
that they're both human.
I'm going to pretend I never heard that
Yeah.
because the ending being ambiguous is one
Well,
of the
right here,
greatest things.
More to that was Kurt Russell's McCready in a medical center, having been found and rescued here. McCready is given a blood test, which confirms he's human. In the end, however, Carpenter felt this was extraneous and preferred his more ambiguous conclusion, so the scene hit the bin.
So he liked his ambiguous conclusion and then said, "Oh yeah, but they're both human." No good.
Did you know who they were trying to get to play Dr. Blair before Wilford Brimley? But he couldn't get. He was under contract for another movie. I forget the name of the movie that he was under contract for.
Ed Asner.
That's a good call right there.
That's a good guess, because do you know who it is?
No.
Christopher Lloyd.
He was the host of Saturday Night Live when Fear played on Halloween.
George Carlin?
No,
John Belushi?
Donald Pleasance.
Yeah, he had just done Halloween with John Carpenter, so that makes sense for sure. Yeah. Yeah, I'm glad they didn't get Donald Pleasance. We have to get the thing. He's out there.
That was pretty good. I like. Do it again.
He's out there. He's evil. That's
Add that to our.
that's his
to
entire
our,
dialogue from every Halloween movie he's been in. He's been like in
impressions.
half of them.
So the film's budget was $15 million, which is substantially larger than the average horror film of the time.
It was 10 million of that on practical effects.
Friday the 13th, it said here.
Part 3? Because that's coming out.
Friday the
this
13th in
time.
1980 had a cost of $700,000. John Carpenter's original Halloween in 78 had a paltry $375,000, but no, $15 million for this film.
Was Kurt Russell already a thing by this time? Did they have to pay him money to be in this role?
New York was the year before.
So he was kind of something.
But he was also a child actor.
He was a
something,
Disney.
something.
He was a Disney actor in the 60s, right?
Yeah. What was that? It was like an aquatic show,
The computer wore tennis shoes or something like that.
That was a movie. He was in those movies, right? But wasn't he in a series? I thought he was in a series, a Disney series too.
Kurt Russell might be 100 years old. I think he was doing like Steamboat Willie.
He does like Santa Claus now, I think, in some movies, I think.
I think that's Tim Allen.
He does as well. No, he does the Santa Claus,
Oh.
which is actually coming back, I read. But
He was in Elvis 5 years before this movie, the original Elvis movie. Kurt Russell.
There's another Elvis movie. Was
Not
he
the
Elvis?
I believe he was. Not the Baz Luhrmann one.
He was too old to
obviously.
play Elvis now. I mean, he's like 70 years old.
Yeah, so he was 5 years younger than he was in the thing.
Oh, back then.
It was
Okay.
five-
Okay. That makes sense.
79.
Because that was right after Elvis died. So
Yeah.
yeah, he could have played Elvis back then.
Carpenter was sold on making this film just by the blood test scene. He said he was adamant to create a monster movie where the creature wasn't obviously played by a man in a suit, something that had bothered him somewhat while watching Alien in 1979.
Ooh.
I thought that was interesting. And did you know that Richard Mazer turned down a role in E.T. to do a more secured role in this film?
So what was he going to play in E.T.?
The only thing I could think of would be one of the
Coyote.
the agents were the ex-husband or whatever, right? Who's not even really there till the end. So I think it was smart when he took this role, because there was no male role that was huge in that movie, right?
Where he was going to chop off his legs and be the ET in the kitchen.
That was the girl or the boy, right? The 12-year-old boy.
Yeah.
Give me some of your mental notes there, Brian.
My big mental note was when they.
Does that have something to do with the tree? Was there a tree in this movie? Because your poltergeist notes are amazing, man. It's amazing how much you focused on that tree.
How many ti-
There was like an hour and a half after
how
that
many times
movie.
did he bring up the tree?
There was an hour and a half after that tree was no more in that movie.
I hated that train. But when they
that tree did nothing to you, man.
besides scare me, when they went down onto the spacecraft and they found the
went down?
spacecraft, they
But
it
you
was
have that in your
obviously
notes?
a painting, but it didn't take away. I didn't think it took
Oh,
away.
what? Like a matte painting?
Yeah.
Well, but that was still good for 1982. I actually have from that part, I said, these scientists are expert spelunkers because they were going down a exact 90-degree ice cliff and no problem. Just like, whoop, whoop, whoop. I was watching them go. I'm like, these guys know how to do that? I would think that would take a lot of
Ice
training
climbers.
to do that. What's that?
They're the ice climbers.
Maybe they are. And then also when they got into the Norwegian / Swedish laboratory, everything was destroyed except like 5 beakers that had all like red, blue, and yellow liquid in there. I'm like, oh,
saw that.
beakers with fluids. Now I know this is a lab. I'm like, okay, I know exactly what. Like all you have to do is put beakers and fluids in those beakers, and I'm like, oh. Okay, we're in a laboratory here. I'm like, I'm good. You've set the scene for me. Anything else could be in this thing, but as long as you put beakers with fluid in there, I'm good.
There was a list made in August 2022, Entertainment Weekly. The top
I remember Entertainment Weekly. I used to love Entertainment Weekly, man.
They had
back when I got magazines.
They had The Thing ranked as the 8th scariest movie of all time.
Huh.
Number 1 was The Exorcist.
See, that's interesting because I wouldn't really consider this a very scary movie.
Is there
But
anything
I
like
would consider-
scary? But like, I guess your definition
It's
is
definitely
scary.
a thriller.
It's definitely,
I mean, you know,
if you're considering it a horror movie still, I would say this is the best horror movie ever, to be honest.
it's definitely a Christmas movie.
I thought it was like April or something like that. Didn't they talk about
I was
like?
just joking.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry. Sorry.
Well, Kurt Russell does play Santa Claus at one point, doesn't he? So you can claim here.
That's true.
Wait, what?
Doesn't Kurt Russell play Santa Claus in another movie?
The
Netflix
movie.
Did we talk about? Did we just talk about that? Did we just talk about it being Santa Claus? I have no idea what's going on right now.
How many of them did you have? Is there a mini coming out tonight?
Oh, maybe. I don't know.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, I have to.
He destroyed one of them. By the way,
destroyed one of
I was
them,
looking at my notes earlier
I've
from
been working. I had a lot of work to do. So
I do have Mila Kunis meh in my notes. I just missed that. So.
Oh, for the
I did actually have that written down as something to talk about, and I just didn't talk about it. Mila Kunis' new movie, meh.
I do have a few notes here. I'll get to a couple of them. Just to catch up,
Yeah.
I put that the opening sequence is just like the music just adds all the suspense that leads up for at least the first 30 minutes.
That music is so great with just when you just see the helicopter coming
it's
through.
just
and
enough.
Yeah, it's
like
perfect.
less is
yeah.
more.
I
almost
agree.
there.
Yeah, and it's just the plain white background. It's just so.
And then I added just the music is phenomenal, building tension, setting the atmosphere. And I liked how they went to the Norwegian base and they pretty much found the remains of the situation that they're about to get themselves into.
What was this deal with the random grave built out in the middle there when they found the hole where the spaceship had been, and then they found like the grave sized hole in the ice? Like,
I think they went into the spaceship and took it out, and then they left it. And then they brought it to their base, and then they left it there. And then I guess when they like thought it out, then that's when
that's where they thawed it out. I thought that was at the same spot. It was almost like I was like, did the guy was the thing in a box shaped pod that just landed like right next to the ship or something like that?
In the ice.
Yeah, I wasn't sure what was going. Like when they saw that, because the music was very ominous, like dun dun dun. I'm like, what am I supposed to be taking away from this here? Like, I'm not sure what this hole is like. Were they digging a grave for themselves? Like, this is where we'll bury ourselves after we get thinged?
That's what we should call it.
Thinged?
When you get thinged.
TK Carter, who plays Knowles, he was a stand-up comic as well.
Okay. He's the guy from Saved by the Bell?
The guy from Saved by the Bell, yeah. But other other comedians that they had looked into possibly playing in that role were Jay Leno, Gary Shandling, and Charles Fleischer.
Dude,
if Jay Leno
in this movie would be all the critical hate that goes to this movie. That would be deserving. That would be deserving if Jay Leno's in there. Hey, let me tell you. Hey, I found your dirty drawers in the garbage. Can you even imagine how terrible this movie would have been with Jay Leno roller skating around?
Before we
I think we should be eating food out of cans from now on, eh?
Can you tell me
how did Jay Leno have a fucking job for like the last 40 years? Please explain that to me. I don't even understand it.
How many comics out there right now will tell you Jay Leno was so great too?
Oh, God damn it, man.
He was a killer, they said on stage. I don't know. I've never seen him live.
I've never seen him live, but I saw the Tonight Show enough to know he is
Can you tell me which member of this cast thought he disagreed with the film's level of gore? He found it affected the audience negatively. Can you tell me which member of this cast?
Wilford Brimley.
I was going to say Wilford Brimley too. The old man of the cast.
Yes.
Hey, did you know that diabetes can do just as much damage as the thing can?
Did you know that the computer estimated that once this organism reaches civilization,
and that
everyone will be wiped out in 27,000 hours?
27,
how many days?
Oh, I was going to say I knew 27,000 hours. I didn't know how many days that was.
How many days is 27,000 hours?
I thought it was like 3 3/4 years or something.
It's 1,125 days or 3 years and 1 month.
There you go. 3 1/3, 3 1/4,
3 1/12.
That computer program was amazing in its writing out of like estimate population time.
Told the audience just what we needed to know.
It was the exposition computer
in giant font.
It was so 27,000 hours.
I think Andy's going to like my last note that I have for this movie here. Of the film's $15 million budget, $1.5 million of that went on for the makeup effects. That represented most of the studio that's the most the studio ever spent on creature effects.
Why would I like that? You saying I wear makeup?
Because we were talking about you talked about the money spent on it. So like how much?
I would have thought half the money would have been on this special effects.
75,000 went for heat. 1.5 million went for a makeup effects.
$75,000 for heat,
yeah,
and they filmed half of it in L.A.
If you wear makeup, save your money.
Oh, I'm hurt. Oil of Olay.
Now let's hear the rest of Brian's mental notes.
I only have one more. How'd they get that video game machine in there, and what was the video game machine?
Excellent.
Are you talking about the computer, or was
no? There was a stand-up arcade game in there.
Oh, okay.
Well, they got that in there the way they got all that shit that Wilford Brimley was axing all that computer stuff.
Helicopters.
Wilford Brimley was going.
Was the
nuts,
game
man.
Asteroids?
Oh, I don't know. I was asking you guys.
Oh my!
Oh, for
are you
fuck's
serious,
sake, dude?
That's not right,
I
man.
don't- that's why I was asking.
That's not a mental note. That's
I just
a
told
question.
you. I said that was my last note.
I said, how did they get the machine in there, and what was the machine?
But I
Yeah,
mean, that
like you were
arcade,
asking us.
they got a ping pong table in there. That's just as easy to get or a pool table.
Hold on, we got
A pool table's
we got
heavier than
somebody
an
that's a little
arcade.
faster on the internet looking it up. So that's not cool, dude.
You come to the podcast with the answers to your questions.
Yeah, you don't.
You don't
ask
say-
a question like that.
You don't
unless-
say, "Hey, what was
You
Kurt
guys
Russell
know
in?"
everything about these things.
You don't say, "Hey, what was Kurt Russell in?" And then we say, "I don't know what." You're like, "Oh, I don't know. I guess other stuff."
Come on, Brian. I know we weren't here last Saturday. I'm
We've
sorry I
been off
wasn't
for
feeling well.
1 week in the last 6 months, and you lost it all.
Sorry, I was nauseous.
I believe it
Jeez.
was asteroids, though. It was probably asteroids, Space Invaders.
Dig Dug.
I don't think it was.
No, not Dig Dug. It was blue with white writing.
It was 82, so it couldn't have been anything too advanced. Ms. Pac-Man, I think, was 81.
It was not any Pac-Man game. It was.
I'm saying, but I'm just saying what came out. What's out at that time?
I'm pretty sure it was asteroids.
But I'm gonna have to skip this.
I'm
Andy.
putting $20 on asteroids.
We're gonna have to go into Rotten Tomatoes now because everybody's just looking at.
I
the
do
phones.
have my mental notes if you want to do that before.
Yeah, do your mental notes. Thank
You have mental notes?
Yes, well, I'm saying mental notes now. He's got me saying it. I have physical notes. You could hear this.
I know it is kind of messed
All right.
up though that he asked that question.
Okay, so I want to say when they broke into the Norwegians' base, the guy was half decapitated and his wrists were cut and frozen. That was
Yes,
awesome.
that was
so
insane.
Had he
Yes.
tried to kill himself, or
I don't know because it made it seem like he killed himself, but he obviously couldn't have half decapitated.
Yeah, right. That would have
himself,
been
so-
I don't know.
Maybe he
I was
did that
wondering.
But what
and then he got
happened?
attacked.
What happened to Fuchs? Did he actually try to blow himself up when they found him with the flare?
Well,
They found his glasses. Was he
Yeah, right.
blown up? Did he try to kill himself? I don't know.
That is a good question.
I think the thing tries to make you try to kill yourself too. Once you get thinged,
Would you want to be assimilated?
no.
No.
I think that the scene where they're doing the blood test was so suspenseful.
Hell
Oh, yeah.
yeah!
Fantastic. I saw this movie just a year ago and I know what's going to happen. I'm like, just
You know
do
what?
it, do it.
I was thinking at the same time. I'm like, I know one of these guys is
Yeah.
going to have the bad blood, but
Like,
I
why
don't
am
know
I
which
so
guy has
stressed
the
out?
bad
Yeah.
blood.
Oh my gosh, amazing.
I knew Keith David didn't have it. I knew Kurt Russell didn't have it, but everybody else was on the table. I'm like, someone else has it. I'm like, I'm not sure which one of these guys.
That was good. That was
Brian's
really
still over
good
there trying to look up an arcade game.
There was a pinball machine in there too.
Okay, what was that one?
Oh, I
don't know.
He doesn't know that one either.
I don't know.
I just saw it. in
There was
the
a
background.
a toilet in there. Did you know there was a
There's
church toilet? I don't know.
There was did you see the type of blowtorch? What brand it was?
I'm forgetting the name of the guy who loved the dogs. He was a dog lover.
That was Clark.
Richard Mazer.
Okay. I thought when he was shot, that was spectacular because I feel like that doesn't happen too often when someone's threatening you.
And just killed in
They're-
cold
they're
blood,
they're
and
you're not going to do it. And he's like,
And boom!
And that was it.
and then to
Yeah,
discover that he actually was human
Yeah.
afterwards.
Yep.
That was great.
He's
Like,
like,
so you're a murderer.
Says that makes
Huh?
you a murderer. I was like, that's so good. Fucking pinball.
I also got that the lighting and the cinematography with the flares and the fire contrast.
That was great.
Antarctica, everything just looked amazing.
It was the colors are so perfect.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's 40 years ago.
Oh,
40
yeah.
years ago, man.
And also with no budget, and I guess a big budget
15
for,
mil, yeah.
but that doesn't get you shit in 1982 in LA.
I know. It's,
They get
yeah.
you like a hooker
And
and,
they,
a
I mean,
dime
how
bag
much
or
did it
something
cost
like
to get
that.
all that equipment up into that? What was that in Canada? What was it?
British Columbia somewhere.
Columbia, right?
Alaska and LA.
Yeah, getting that equipment up into Canada is probably expensive.
But now they film everything in Canada,
Vancouver, right?
in British Columbia. Yeah, so
And my last thing was the ending was absolutely spectacular. I loved the ambiguity of it, and just they're just sitting there and what
They're like,
next?
one of us is one of us is a thing, and one of us isn't.
And we're ignoring
Let's
what
just
John
drink.
said. John
yeah.
didn't say anything.
Let's just
Yeah.
drink scotch
Yeah.
until one of us dies.
Yep.
That's just somebody's theory. Yeah, you have a theory? Cool.
I really
Not
thought it
what
was
I believe,
great that
yeah.
Wilford Brimley figured it out so early. We cannot, we should all just die here. And he breaks all the equipment, and then he's building the UFO underneath, because now he's a thing.
He's Alf.
I wish they kind of like.
thinged.
I wish there was a version of this where, and maybe there is. Maybe there's a director's commentary somewhere where at each who's the thing at the, and I guess multiple people can be the things at any one point. That's like one of the things about the thing. Like
How many times is he saying the thing?
everybody could be like
Thing.
because they can like when he was assimilating the dogs. It was assimilating the dogs, not him. It was doing it to all of them. So he could have taken over all the people at once. So it would have been fun to track who is a thing at any one time during the movie.
You found it?
I don't know what it is.
This fucking
That's the
guy,
only
man.
picture. And they got a jukebox in there too.
How'd they get that in there? How'd they get that in there?
I don't know. It doesn't seem like they would bring those things to Antarctica.
You got to give him some kind
These
of.
guys were
some
doing
kind of-
nothing but watching tapes of Let's Make a Deal and
the
shit
Swedes
like that.
didn't have it.
And they all fucking killed themselves.
Yeah. Come on.
I also thought, I guess it's about when they first started getting infected or thinged, when they first started getting thinged, and Windows runs out and he's like, "What? It's Bentley or what's his name? Bennett.
Bennett.
Bennett. He's like, it's Bennett. And then like they chase him down and he's like half formed and he's just like, like in the
That was
snow.
great,
That
yes.
was awesome. They just lit him on fire. They're like, nope, we're not even.
We're not dealing with that.
yeah,
Not today.
No way.
That's tomorrow's problem.
Let's talk Rotten Tomatoes. Do you want the critics first? Because I always seem to forget to give the critic score.
It's so
after
funny.
we
I
give
noticed last week in
ours.
Poltergeist, all of a sudden you're like, I'll hold the critics for later. And
And
then
I
and I was like, oh, I guess I never did that.
So I have my score already written on my paper here, so I can't change it. So obviously I'll write down what you guys have. So do you want me to give you the critics first, or do you guys want to give your scores first?
Critics first,
All
I
right.
think.
Critics first, huh?
Yeah.
Critics, and then I give critics
Wait,
audience.
unless actually, we should make Brian go first because he's always.
He should always go first
Yeah,
because he
you're-
always just.
we don't want to give your. Yeah, we don't want to persuade you. So let's hear. Your
Oh, I
score.
was just gonna say that.
Say what?
Whatever his score was, whatever my score was. Oh, I was gonna give that the exact same
It's blah
score.
blah blah.
Brian.
I'm going to give it a score of 65.
Whoa.
I'm gonna.
And that's it.
I'm
Huh?
gonna
There's
top
no
your
commentary
vote,
on
too.
that. huh?
What's your commentary on that? Why is 65?
Because they shouldn't have been able to get those things in there.
Wow.
They were so far inland. There was no ship nearby.
So they shouldn't have been able to get the arcade machine and the jukebox into the thing,
yeah.
into the
But they can get
research
all that other
facility.
equipment down there, though.
Can
Yeah,
the
that
thing,
seems like a waste of money.
And that's why you gave this a low score, because of the unbelievability of them being able to get
No,
the
because you
equipment
guys yelled
there.
at me because I asked what the video game was.
By the way, it was a Centipede.
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 Nice.
Bum, bum, bum,
That
bum,
makes
bum,
sense.
bum,
That's
dun,
not even
dun,
a
dun,
joystick.
dun,
Yeah,
dun,
that's a
dun,
ball.
dun, dun,
That's a
dun, dun,
ball.
dun, dun. Great game,
could the
Centipede.
thing,
Be a centipede?
the Centipede arcade game? Could it-
Human
Oh my god,
centipede?
that would just take over the whole thing.
What about the human centipede?
Human
Oh,
centipede arcade game.
We
is
should do that
disgusting.
one night. The human centipede trilogy.
Oh.
the whole trilogy?
Yeah.
I'm out for that.
Is that really your score? 65? You're really going to
65, yeah.
penalize
I
it?
did enjoy it. No, that's a good score for me.
I don't think. It's
I mean,
a good
I'll
score.
probably not watch it again, but I mean, I wouldn't.
Watch it
mind
twice
watching
in a year.
it.
I'm the
Yeah, I
opposite.
watched it twice this
I'm
year.
the complete opposite of you. Then I can't wait to watch this again because I love this movie.
Oh.
This movie brings nothing but joy to me when I watch it. It's the suspense in it. John Carpenter, the music is great. Everything about this movie is so much fun. It's a very dark movie. Special effects for 40 years ago, insane. 90 dude.
Whoa.
I give this a 90, and I paid for it on YouTube for $4, and I have it for another month, and I will watch it at least one more time.
Did Michelle watch it with you?
Yeah.
Did she enjoy it? Did she give you a score?
Michelle's a little annoying when watching this because this is like one of her dad's favorite movies. Also, the original The Thing from Another World. That this was also the Thing from Another World and The Thing were both based on the same book.
Yeah.
Shit, I forget the name of the book, but it was like
Invasion
one
of
of the
Body Snatchers.
it's not based on that book,
Oh,
but
okay.
like
The
there was
Blob.
another book like
Taking a stab
Here They
at the
Come or
Thing.
something like that. But The Thing from Another World and The Thing are the same. The Thing's a remake, and this is Jules's favorite movie.
Yeah.
So Michelle kept saying like, "You should have my dad on for this. He loves this movie. He loves this line. He loves this scene." I'm like,
But
"Yeah,
he
but
wouldn't understand
your
what we were
dad
doing.
doesn't
Yeah.
know what a podcast is, and would be sitting here going like." Can you, what? Andy, are you there? Are you there? So we didn't have Jules on this podcast, but I love this movie. It's so much fun. And I think Michelle enjoyed it too.
9-0, you said, right? I got you.
I don't even remember what I said now. But yeah, if I said 90, I stick to that.
Yeah, I got you 9-0. 65, 95, 90.
All right, so I'll give my little thing.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
Definitely one of my favorite movies of all time. Easily, if we're considering it horror, definitely my favorite horror movie of all time. Still a great thriller. Loved every second of this movie. Have almost nothing bad. Actually, I don't have anything bad to say. There's nothing wrong with this movie, I don't think.
Nice.
And I'm going to give it a 95.
Nice.
Very nice score.
Is it a horror movie? Is it a thriller?
Horror thriller, maybe. Put a little
Or
hyphen there.
Is it
Psychological.
thriller horror thriller? Which would you go first?
Now,
Say horror psycho.
let's say they had a train track outside the base that explained how they got the centipede game and the jukebox machine there. Would that increase your score 30 points?
No.
Oh, okay.
But there's no trains in Antarctica.
They had
There's no
helicopters.
fucking alien monsters either, man. For fuck's sake, dude. I can't believe that would bother you. I can't. They had a whole room of computer equipment that Wilford Brimley was smashing with an axe. They got that there.
I believe you gave Grease 2 a higher score.
Oh, did I?
I think you gave Grease 2 a higher score than 65.
I agree. I originally gave it a 60.
No, not you. Him. I believe
Oh,
Brian gave it a higher than.
I don't know. 65 is pretty good for me.
Mike Reese 2 scores now like a 5, by the way.
I know.
It goes down
I know.
every time we podcast.
Believe me, I know, but I believe you gave us. I think you were in the 70s. I really do think you were in the 70s for that.
For Grease too?
I really do.
Oh, I
Have to check the records.
But real quick, before I forget the critics.
Oh, yeah. Oh, did they do this?
The critics were 83% and the audience was 92%.
I'd like to know the critic score from 1982 because I don't think it was 83%.
I agree. I believe
bet it was like 53%.
Well, because anyone who's a Rotten Tomatoes critic who watches the thing can just add to the pool.
Yeah.
Of
But
that. So
there are also modern critics saying like,
Yeah,
"Oh yeah, I love the thing too."
How do you become
But
a critic on Rotten Tomatoes? Do you have to have any kind of credentials?
I
or
honestly
something?
don't think it's that like strenuous. Like I know like a lot of like just
'Cause I'd be down to do that.
just
I'd
like
be down to do that,
YouTubers
yeah.
or
What
like
was the
podcasters who
critical
like have
score again?
followings will just have
83.
the accolade of being allowed to contribute to the critic side.
Yeah.
So I don't think you have to be like a published like author in like some like movie column. in the New York
83 and
Times.
92.
can we somehow get the exciting and new podcast scores on Rotten Tomato?
I don't know, Brian.
So, like Brian gave the thing
Can
a
we-
65.
Can we put our scores on Spreaker? Like you have a little something on there. We could just load them in each week.
I don't know.
So that
I'll see
one
if we
person
can
that has Spreaker will be like, okay.
Actually, it'd be more for us, so we can go back and say, Andy, you really did give it a 12. And we're like, you're like, nah, give it an 80. You're like, now you gave it a 12.
I stand by all my scores except Grease 2.
What are we doing next week?
Well, here we are halfway through October.
And
we got-
man. Been some great costumes so far.
We
Good.
got
Good.
we still have Friday the 13th part 3 to release,
It's already been
which has already been recorded, and we have
Ooh, spooky.
Halloween 3 to record, and we have
Yeah,
Amityville 2 to
Amityville
record.
2 to record.
So we really have to record 2 more and release this and 3 other ones in the next like 2 weeks.
Yes. So what are we going for next week then?
I don't think that answers your question. After this, I think we should probably release Friday the 13th part 3 because that's been recorded already.
All right, so then
And I think that guest stars
Friday the
Dan
13th
and
part
Anthony.
3, yeah. Okay. Friday the 13th part 3 will be our next one, and then
I think we recorded that one in like June or something like that.
that was definitely a warm month because we went
Yeah.
outside afterwards.
yeah.
We hung out for a little bit outside, I believe.
That was supposed to be a Pocono weekend, and then it got canceled because
Shroom weekend.
someone had
Somebody got
COVID or something like that.
Brian got COVID. Matt
Remember
got
when COVID
right?
was a thing? So retro.
Just like AIDS.
Oh my god!
No one gets AIDS anymore.
What about monkeypox? I remember that.
Monkeypox. Oh my God, they were trying to get us all scared about
Yeah,
monkeypox.
that was like a
It's like,
week.
monkeypox. And they're like, don't worry about it.
They're like, war.
They're like, has anybody fucked a monkey? No? Oh, you haven't fucked a monkey? Yeah, don't worry. You won't get it then.
But really, you can find us on Spreaker, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, anywhere you get your podcasts. We're there. Listen to us. We're fun. The Jazoo on Instagram, Jazoo74 on Twitter. This is the exciting and new podcast. I'm Jason.
I'm Andy, AE Gonzo 1970 on
Instagram,
and AE Gonzo 1 on Twitter.
Yes.
And I'm Brian, Papa Bad Kitty.
And I'm Connor, Variance Reviews on Instagram.